Storms are rarely gentle. They do not knock politely before entering your life. They arrive suddenly, shaking the foundations you thought were unbreakable. The meaning behind the storm is often misunderstood because when you are standing in heavy rain, you cannot see the clear sky beyond it. You only feel the wind pushing against you, the uncertainty clouding your direction, and the fear whispering that things may never be the same again. But storms are not sent to destroy you. They are sent to reveal you. They strip away illusions, comfort zones, and false securities. They expose what is weak so it can be strengthened. They uncover what is hidden so it can be healed. The storm that shakes you is not your enemy. It is a force of transformation. Every storm carries a message. Sometimes it tells you that you were depending too much on something temporary. Sometimes it reminds you that your strength was lying dormant, waiting for a reason to awaken. Before the storm, life may feel stable but stagnant. You may be comfortable but not growing. Comfort can become a quiet trap. It convinces you that safety is success and ease is progress. Yet real growth demands discomfort. When the storm hits, it pushes you out of routines that were no longer serving you. It forces you to confront fears you were avoiding. It challenges beliefs that were limiting your potential. In that shaking, something powerful begins to happen. You start discovering who you really are. The storm exposes your foundations. When strong winds hit a building, weaknesses in its structure become visible. In the same way, life's hardships reveal cracks in your mindset, your habits, and sometimes even your faith. This exposure is not meant to humiliate you. It is meant to prepare you. You cannot repair what you refuse to see. The storm shines light on areas that need strengthening. It may show you that you rely too much on people instead of building inner resilience. It may show you that your self-worth was tied to achievements rather than character. It may reveal that your faith was strong in words but weak in practice. These realizations can hurt, but they are gifts in disguise. There is a deeper wisdom behind every shaking. When everything feels uncertain, you are invited to rebuild on stronger ground. Storms remove what was temporary so you can anchor yourself in what is permanent. They detach you from illusions and reconnect you with purpose. Many people only discover their true calling after a crisis disrupts their plans. The job they lost becomes the doorway to a better opportunity. The heartbreak they endured becomes the lesson that teaches them self-respect. The failure they feared becomes the foundation for future success. Without the storm, they might have stayed in places that were too small for them. The storm also reshapes your perspective. When life is easy, gratitude can become shallow. You appreciate comfort, but you do not fully understand its value. After enduring hardship, even small blessings feel extraordinary. A peaceful day feels like a treasure. A supportive friend feels like a miracle. Your vision becomes clearer because you have seen darkness. You begin to understand that strength is not about avoiding storms, but surviving them. It is about standing firm when the winds are against you. It is about trusting that even in chaos, there is a greater design at work. Storms also test your faith and refine it. It is easy to trust when everything is going your way. True trust appears when outcomes are uncertain. In the middle of a storm, you learn surrender. You realize that you cannot control everything, and that realization humbles you. Humility opens the door to deeper faith. You begin to rely not on your limited understanding, but on divine wisdom. You start to believe that even pain has purpose. That belief becomes your anchor. It steadies you when circumstances threaten to overwhelm you. Pain is often the hidden teacher within the storm. It does not introduce itself as a lesson. It feels like a burden. Yet pain carries insight that comfort cannot provide. When you experience disappointment, you learn discernment. When you face rejection, you learn resilience. When you endure loss, you learn appreciation. Pain forces you to slow down and reflect. It asks questions that ease never does. Who are you without your titles? What matters when everything else is stripped away? What kind of person do you want to become after this? These questions shape character. Pain also builds emotional depth. Without hardship, empathy remains theoretical. You may understand suffering intellectually, but you cannot truly feel it. Once you have walked through your own storm, your heart becomes softer toward others. You become less judgmental because you know that everyone carries unseen battles. Pain transforms arrogance into humility and indifference into compassion. It connects you to humanity in a profound way. The tears you shed become bridges that allow you to understand others more deeply. There is also strength that emerges only through struggle. Muscles grow by resisting pressure. In the same way, character grows by resisting despair. Each time you endure something difficult without giving up, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. That realization changes you. Confidence built through comfort is fragile. Confidence built through pain is unshakable. You begin to trust yourself because you have evidence of your resilience. You survived nights you thought would break you. You stood up after falling. You continued despite fear. These experiences become your internal proof of strength. Pain teaches patience in a way nothing else can. When you are waiting for relief, you learn endurance. You learn that healing takes time and that not every answer comes immediately. This waiting shapes maturity. It trains your heart to remain steady, even when outcomes are delayed. Patience is not passive suffering. It is active perseverance. It is choosing hope while acknowledging reality. It is believing that today's hardship is not permanent. Through patience, pain becomes a refining fire instead of a consuming one. Another hidden lesson in pain is detachment. When something you love is taken away, you realize that nothing in this world is guaranteed. This realization can feel frightening, but it also brings clarity. You start to value what truly matters. You stop chasing temporary validation and start investing in lasting character. Pain simplifies your priorities. It removes distractions and highlights essentials. It reminds you that inner peace is more valuable than external applause. Storms and pain together create transformation. They shake your identity and then invite you to rebuild it stronger. They challenge your beliefs and then deepen them. They break your illusions and then reveal truth. When you look back after surviving a difficult chapter, you often realize that it shaped you more than your successes ever did. Success can elevate your status, but struggle elevates your soul. Success can make you visible, but pain makes you profound. There is a quiet power in surviving what you once feared. The storm that once terrified you becomes a testimony of your endurance. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes a reminder of your growth. You begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone who avoids challenges. You are someone who overcomes them. That shift in identity is powerful. It changes how you approach future obstacles. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this shaping within me?" The meaning behind the storm is not found during the loudest thunder. It is discovered afterward in reflection. When the winds calm and you stand on steady ground again, you see how much you have changed. You see the strength you developed, the wisdom you gained, and the faith you deepened. You realize that the shaking was necessary to remove what could not support your next level. The storm was not the end of you. It was the beginning of a stronger version of you. Pain, as a hidden teacher, never leaves you empty-handed. It may take comfort, but it gives clarity. It may remove certainty, but it builds courage. It may challenge your heart, but it strengthens your spirit. Those who embrace the lessons within pain do not become bitter. They become better. They carry scars, but those scars tell stories of survival. And they walk with humility because they know how fragile ease can be. They stand with confidence because they know how resilient they are. When you understand the meaning behind the storm and recognize pain as a teacher, your perspective shifts completely. You stop seeing hardship as proof of failure and start seeing it as evidence of growth. You no longer fear being shaken because you know that shaking leads to strengthening. You accept that storms are part of the journey, not interruptions to it. And with that understanding, you face life not with avoidance, but with courage. Trials are rarely convenient. They do not arrive when you feel fully prepared, emotionally stable, or spiritually strong. They often come at moments when life seems to be flowing smoothly, interrupting your plans and rearranging your priorities. Yet trials are not random interruptions. They are turning points. A turning point is a moment when the direction of your life quietly but permanently changes. It may not feel significant while you are in it, but later you realize that everything shifted because of that single challenge. A trial forces you to pause. It disrupts your routine and demands your attention. Before the trial, you may have been moving quickly, chasing goals without reflection. The hardship slows you down. It makes you question your path. It invites you to reevaluate what truly matters. In that pause, clarity begins to form. You start seeing patterns you ignored before. You recognize habits that were harming you. You notice relationships that were draining you. The trial becomes a mirror, reflecting truths you were too busy to confront. Many people discover their true strength at a turning point. When everything is stable, you rarely test your limits. You operate within comfort. But when difficulty arises, you are pushed beyond what feels safe. You are forced to make decisions under pressure. You are required to endure emotions you would rather avoid. In doing so, you uncover a resilience that was always there but never activated. The trial becomes the catalyst for growth. Without it, your potential might have remained dormant. Turning points often redefine identity. A person who once saw themselves as fragile may discover courage. Someone who believed they could not survive loss finds themselves standing strong months later. A trial strips away false narratives about who you are. It challenges limiting beliefs. It reveals that you are capable of far more than you assumed. This shift in self-perception can change the entire trajectory of your life. When you believe you are stronger, you act differently. You take bolder steps. You trust yourself more deeply. Trials also clarify purpose. Hardship has a way of filtering distractions. When you face difficulty, trivial concerns lose their importance. You begin focusing on what genuinely aligns with your values. Many people change careers, repair relationships, or deepen their faith after a major challenge. The trial becomes the turning point that redirects them toward a more meaningful path. What once seemed like an obstacle reveals itself as guidance. There is also humility in trials. Success can sometimes inflate ego, creating the illusion of control. A trial reminds you that control is limited. It grounds you, it softens you. It teaches reliance not only on your own effort, but also on divine wisdom. This humility becomes a foundation for future growth. It prevents arrogance and encourages gratitude. When you have experienced hardship, you appreciate ease differently. You no longer take blessings for granted because you know how quickly circumstances can change. Turning points are not always dramatic. Sometimes they are quiet decisions made in the middle of pain. Choosing forgiveness instead of resentment. Choosing perseverance instead of surrender. Choosing faith instead of despair. These choices may seem small, but they alter your direction. They determine whether the trial will break you or build you. Growth begins the moment you decide to respond with strength rather than defeat. Growth never comes from comfort because comfort rarely demands transformation. Comfort maintains the status quo. It allows habits to remain unchallenged. It keeps routines predictable. While comfort feels safe, it does not stretch you. It does not require new skills or deeper faith. It does not push you beyond familiar limits. Real growth begins when you step into discomfort willingly or unwillingly. Discomfort exposes weaknesses. When you attempt something new and struggle, you realize where improvement is needed. When you face rejection, you learn resilience. When you fail, you gain insight. These uncomfortable experiences are not signs of inadequacy. They are indicators of expansion. Every skill you have today once felt uncomfortable to learn. Every level of maturity required moments of emotional difficulty. Without discomfort, there would be no evolution. Comfort can create complacency. When life is easy, motivation can fade. There is no urgency to improve, no pressure to adapt. But discomfort awakens determination. It challenges you to rise higher. It forces creativity. It demands effort. The tension you feel in difficult moments is the same tension that strengthens you. Just as muscles grow by resisting weight, character grows by resisting hardship. Without resistance, there is no strengthening. Emotional growth especially depends on discomfort. Difficult conversations build communication skills. Heartbreak builds emotional intelligence. Loneliness builds self-awareness. Each uncomfortable emotion teaches something valuable. Avoiding discomfort may protect you temporarily, but it limits your development. Facing it expands your capacity. You learn to sit with feelings instead of running from them. You learn that fear does not have to control your actions. You learn that uncertainty does not mean impossibility. Spiritual growth also requires leaving comfort. Faith deepens when tested. Patience strengthens when waiting is required. Gratitude becomes sincere when you have experienced loss. Trials stretch your trust in ways ease never could. When you choose belief in uncertain circumstances, your faith becomes rooted rather than superficial. It transforms from words into lived experience. This depth cannot be achieved without challenge. Discomfort often signals that you are entering a new level. When you pursue bigger goals, the challenges become greater. When you step into leadership, responsibility increases. When you aim for higher standards, expectations rise. The discomfort you feel is evidence of expansion. It is proof that you are no longer confined to previous limits. Growth feels unfamiliar because it takes you beyond what you have known. There is also courage required in leaving comfort voluntarily. Sometimes growth demands that you walk away from what is familiar even before a storm forces you to. It may mean leaving a secure environment to pursue purpose. It may mean ending patterns that feel safe but are unhealthy. This intentional discomfort accelerates development. It teaches independence. It strengthens decision-making. It builds confidence rooted in action rather than circumstance. The relationship between trials and growth is inseparable. Trials create the discomfort necessary for transformation. Comfort preserves who you are. Discomfort shapes who you become. Both challenge your understanding of stability, yet both contain opportunities for transformation. When your inner world trembles and your outer world feels uncertain, you are invited to strengthen what truly matters. You are invited to build faith that does not depend on predictability. You are invited to cultivate resilience that does not rely on comfort. There is a profound growth that occurs when you stop resisting the shaking and start learning from it. Instead of asking why everything feels unstable, you begin asking what this instability is teaching you. Perhaps it is teaching patience. Perhaps it is teaching courage. Perhaps it is teaching surrender. Every storm carries a lesson, even if it takes time to understand it. The shaking may feel uncomfortable, but it is shaping you into someone more grounded, more aware, and more resilient. And strength does not mean never being shaken. It means knowing that even when you are shaken, you will not collapse. It means trusting that after emotional earthquakes, rebuilding is possible. It means believing that even when life feels out of control, there is a greater order at work. The storms that disturb your peace are often the same storms that deepen your faith, refine your character, and solidify your inner foundation. Each tremor, each moment of uncertainty is quietly preparing you to stand stronger than before.